Hello everyone and welcome to the September edition of EdTech Monday Kenya. EdTech Monday is a platform to facilitate critical conversations on the use of technology for teaching and learning by bringing together stakeholders including policymakers, EdTech entrepreneurs, teachers as well as parents. And our topic for September of 2021 is EdTech for the future of work. And just to give us some context, 1 in 4 people in the world are born in Africa. Kenya, just like many, if not all African countries, has a young population with an estimated 61% of the population being either children between the ages of 0 to 14 or youth between 15 to 24 years old, which is normally called a demographic dividend. Kenya's youth are believed to be valuable assets to the present as well as the future. And education is key to preparing young people for the future of work that is increasingly technology-backed. The pandemic period has shed light on what the future of work will look like in terms of who will or will not get meaningful work. Digital skills and relevant training are critical aspects to the youth today. And that's why our September edition, once again in collaboration with the World Bank Group, combines 2 of their study use cases on access to skills and tertiary level training, as well as relevance of digital skills as being fundamental for work and life in the digital economy. And to bring this discussion to life on the urgent need and relevance of EdTech for Kenya's youth in gaining the skills for employment in today's world, we are asking the question, what role can education technologies play in developing skills to prepare young people for the workforce? My panelists are experienced in the education technology field as well as the future of work and working with young people. Allow me to introduce them. Dr. Ehud Gashugu, Director, Ajira Digital and Youth Employment at the Kenya Private Sector Alliance. We have Engineer John Tunui, who is the Chief Executive Officer, Konza Technopolis City, and Ivy Mwai, who is the Lead Education and Skills at the MasterCard Foundation. Our sign language interpreter for this conversation is none other than Rose Omolo. Let's get this conversation started. And I would like to start by asking all of us, my panelists, what's your assessment of our youth skills in Kenya today?
First, I want to thank you, Joy, and the all EdTech team for this important program. The educational technology is quite critical for preparation of our young people to the future of market. And I think there are 2 critical parts to this, that one, the training itself is going digital. So we've got to look at how to ensure that skills can be easily gained through the educational technology in place. And secondly, the youth that we are preparing, they will be delivering their services over IT platform. So currently, the youth that we get from various institutions of our country are being prepared for the market. And we've seen efforts by many technology companies initiating their own programs to bridge the gap in the educational technology from what we get from the university and to the job market. We've seen some tech firms put something like Skills for Africa initiatives. We've seen others develop a bridging course. We've seen also initiatives, even by government, like the Digital Talent Program, which was to bridge the gap between the university and the market. So it's indeed, there is a gap, but one thing we stand very strong as a country is a strong foundational training for our young people, and with a very small gap that can easily be bridged because there is sufficient technologies in place to bridge this. And when you see most tech companies locating their African headquarters in Kenya, is a strong statement of the capabilities within our universities, within our job market, but there is work to be done to enhance this.
All right, I like that you say there is work to be done to enhance this. Ivy, I would like to come to you. From what engineers just talked about, what would you like to add about your assessment of today's youth in the country?
Thank you very much, Engineer. He has definitely spoken about the digital skill side. but there is also the life skills and the employability skills that young people would need to prepare them for the world of work. And important among these are communication, creative thinking, problem solving, and all these are life skills that add up to the technical skills, such as having the digital ability, but they also would need to know what it takes to be a young person in the workplace, time management, interpersonal relationships, an entrepreneurial mindset. All these combined and support the technical digital skills. Thank you.
Right. Ehud, I want to come to you as well. I want to hear your view, and I'm sure KEPSA, which is the Kenya Private Sector Alliance, works a lot with young people. What's your assessment of them today?
Our young people, our young graduates continue to exhibit as they come to the world of work. And this is now where we are calling for the private sector also to really play a critical role. Digital skills are important. We are seeing training institutions churning out people who are technically skilled, but they are not ready for the world of work. They're not able to think creatively. They cannot even be able to solve problems. They cannot even be able to fit within a good team environment. So all these are important skills that young people need to have so that they are able to face the future of work with confidence. That's why we see programs like Nigeria, which is an aggregator working across the board to support young people acquire these very important skills that will help them earn a living now and also in the future.
John, I want to come back to you. What does the future of work actually look like in the Kenyan context? Because, you know, it's one thing for us to talk about the future of work from a global perspective, but in the Kenyan context, what exactly does it look like, and what is required to ensure that we are preparing a workforce that is backed by technology savviness, for lack of a better word?
As mentioned by Evie, it's not only about the digital skills. It's also there's quite need to address the soft skills, because the nature of work is changing. So when we look at Kenyan skill market is that the market requires ready people to work, and yet our universities and training institutions at times give the foundational training. So to address this, there is need to really further enhance the linkage between the industry and the academia. And this can be bridged by education technology stakeholders to ensure that there is a continuous linkage for students in their training, in their institutions, to collaborate and work closer with the universities. And as mentioned earlier, the example of the Presidential Digital Talent Program, which provided students to be connected and attached to industry, provided a great platform. We've seen this also go further to the Public Service Commission, where they've started the internship program. And this is going to really transform how we prepare our talents to the market. And this is now beyond ICT, because it's touching all the other professional careers.
All right. Ehud, I'm coming to you now, because despite the fact that we have a digital divide across the country, we are increasingly seeing higher institutions of learning churning out or releasing graduates who are technologically savvy. But can we comfortably say that the skill sets that they have correspond with what the job market requires? Or do you think we need to tailor-make some of these courses to equip our young people with the right skills for them to plug into the job market comfortably?
I want to point out two things. The future of work as we see it today has three key facets that we have to put our finger all at the same time. Number one is the changing nature of work itself, that yesterday's work cannot be conceived to be today's work. So education and training institutions must be able to prepare our young people in ways and means in which they can work. For example, right now as a fundi or a plumber, I do not have to have an office in a corner of a building, but I can log in into an app, learn how to navigate multiple apps, and be able to be getting my work via an SMS or a call. So that is how work is changing. The second thing is about workplaces. Right now we're talking about remote work, technologies that are allowing us to be able to access services, provide value across the board, even in the education sector. E-learning is a big opportunity for us to continue bridging this gap between the skills that young people are having right now and the skills that industry is looking for, that then will be able to make that alignment more smoother. And the last one is about the worker. The worker is also changing. The new nature of work is just like what Engineer Tanui have said, is that this work now that we are working right now, do not have to access it now in your local area, but you have an opportunity to work for international companies while sitting at the comfort of your house. All these are reforms that are aimed at bridging the gap between the skills that the industry needs as well as the academic institution. But more importantly, let me point it out way, is the importance of building entrepreneurship skills that are bringing agency and agility to young people to be able to be flexible, see opportunities where they can quickly contribute, plug in, develop nice business ideas, seek for support, and then they grow this ecosystem. Formal work is shrinking, and therefore the skills that are needed are skills that are creating flexibility, autonomy, innovation, and of course teamwork.
All right, I love that you wound up with teamwork, and teamwork is very key, and it's one of the, I guess, the soft skills that Ivy was talking about in her opening remarks. But Ivy, I'm now coming to you. There are quite a number of challenges that young people face when navigating their daily work, both at the entry level, middle management, and I guess as they go up the work hierarchy, the number of challenges. Mastercard Foundation has a program dubbed Young Africa Works. How is it helping young people deal with existing challenges and also helping them create more opportunities?
Let me first say a little thing about Young Africa Works. It's the foundation strategy that looks to enable 30 million young people find dignified and fulfilling work across Africa. What the foundation is looking to do is support programs that are able to build the capacity of trainers, build the capacity of institutions to be able to deliver digital skills to young people, and also the trainers themselves are able to learn how to curate the content that is required and deliver it in a classroom setting. And if I think about an example of a partner that the foundation has been working with here in Kenya, a CAP Youth Employment Institute piloted a learning management system during the COVID time for TVET students. As we all know, they were very left behind when the school closures happened. And in this process, they took content that they had delivered and digitized, also content from KICD and CDAC, and were able to have a pilot with a group of young students who are able to continue learning, this time using digital devices. And it was a system that was available offline, so it's accessible offline, download content, do the exams, and then go back and upload what was necessary. And so, looking to support and scale up initiatives like that one that offer young people both in formal schooling systems and those who are out of formal school to be able to access continuous learning is something that the foundation is looking at very strongly to enable young people to really be ready for the 21st century workplace.
All right. Of course, technology-backed learning is an enabler of skills training, but what kind of partnerships are needed to elevate youth skills? And I know that you did mention, the fact that Young Africa Works has partnered with different organizations and institutions in the country. But if we're to break down these strategic partnerships, what kind of partnerships do young people need to be able to wholesomely gain skills that would elevate them in their workforce?
we'd be looking at organizations like innovation hubs, where young people are able to come and access and test and try out ideas in a space where they're not challenged for time or resources that they would not ordinarily have in their pockets. So if there's an innovation center, and this is something like what the Ajira program is doing with Ajira Youth Empowerment Centers, making places like that available, having the devices that young people would need, because they cannot all afford to have personal devices. But if they're able to come to a place where they can access them, have internet ready and available, have the opportunity to train and be connected to through job platforms to work opportunities, then that's a kind of partnership, for example, that the foundation would be interested in.
All right. Ehud, I'm coming to you now, because earlier you did mention that it's not just technology-backed skills that young people need. They also need entrepreneurial skills that could help them also gain meaningful employment. But you know, when we talk about the use of technology-driven solutions to propel a turning point and harness a demographic dividend, break that down for us. How exactly do we achieve that? And knowing that the Kenya Private Sector Alliance deals so much as well with youth employment, which is more or less your forte, how do we achieve this for Kenya's youth?
A lot of work has gone into layering the infrastructure for ICTs in the country. We see ICTs across the board in agriculture, in energy, in environment, but we also need to ensure that there's good broadband internet across the board in remote corners of this country, in places that are low-resourced, in places that have economic challenges, for young people who are able differently, for women. And so access to internet, access to devices, access to workspaces are all important investments that we would need to see continuation of the same, so that we can expand the skill set for the young people. Most importantly also, we are moving towards what we call digital entrepreneurship. There are so many innovations that are actually being churned right now that have capacity to employ so many young people and enormously contribute to the GDP of this country. Looking at this and supporting this ecosystem of innovators and startups is very important. If it's in business development, services, access to finance, technology, all these are very important investments that should be prioritized. More importantly, Kenya is at the forefront of digital finance, and we have seen access to finance across the various platforms that we are using. One can borrow some money and do some business, return the money, and this is how we continue now to inculcate the culture of entrepreneurship. From a private sector point of view, we also are calling for intensified mentorship, and the private sector should be at the forefront. We are the ones who have been complaining that young people lack skills. Our presence needs to be felt much more than it has been before, given the fact that the COVID situation has really intensified the challenge that we've been trying to address. So more presence, more partnerships that are structured, evidence-driven, that are also using and leveraging on technology to develop skills, create jobs for young people, expand employment opportunities are really things that we are putting as the critical in driving this conversation forward.
Great. John, at Konza, of course, there's so much that you're doing in terms of apprenticeships, and Ehud has talked about, mentorship and giving them the skills that they need and the training as well that they need. And certainly the future of work is digital, but what have we seen so far with advancement and encouragement of education technology for futuristic, meaningful learning as well as training? What are those apprenticeships that young people are getting that are at the end of the day helping them to create meaningful work, but also at the same time be incorporated into the workforce? We did see the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics release numbers saying that most of the people who were shed off work in September of 2020 or by September of 2020 were mainly young people, because most employers like to retain employees who are experienced and skilled in certain areas. So what do we have to say to this particularly?
Here at Konza Technopolis, a number of things that we are doing is to ensure that we prepare for the future, to ensure CONSA becomes actually a platform to enable the country be as a player, a global player in the global workplace. We registered as a member of International Associations of Science Parks, which brings over 350 such establishments like CONSA in over 70 countries. And this enables our young people, our innovators, to really be able to access what's happening in the globe. And we believe this is the right thing because we are collapsing, we are becoming a global market. So our young people must be able to see what's happening in the rest of the world. The other great thing our country is doing in investing in a platform is actually a creation, a research facility that will enable us as Kenya to have education tech solutions or innovations or inventions that we can use, because most of the tech platforms, some are global, imported, but through the establishment of the Kenya Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, which we're expecting to do groundbreaking in a few weeks, will be actually a huge platform to enable capabilities for our countries to have high-tech capability, which can enable us create knowledge which is ours.
All right, so as we bring this to a close, Engineer, what would you like to say to the young people today who are watching you across the country, knowing that they know about CONSA, but they don't really know how to access some of the programs? What do you have to say to them?
To our young people, I would want to encourage them to work on enhancing their skill capability, take advantage of available resources, available partnership, go online and see what has been put in place, and also engage government using the existing engagement like the Ajira program, the Presidential Digital Talent Program, the Public Service Commission internship programs, and also programs that are run by institutions like CONSA. Occasionally we have such programs, and also others by the private sector. And take advantage of this to build your skills, take advantage to showcase your ideas. And it's surprisingly that idea you are sitting could be one of the solutions which will address our problems in our country. And we have an opportunity as Kenya to support the rest of Africa by giving solutions from here in Kenya and using the solid and future-oriented platforms that we already have to serve the rest of the world. So the opportunity is there, take it. Don't look at the reasons why not, because there are many reasons or challenges, but look and find an opportunity to be of service to someone, to the country, and to the world.
All right, thank you so much, Engineer Ehud. I'm coming to you. In terms of young people and the skills that they need, what are the two most important skills that young people today need to have in case they are to get employed anywhere across the country or even across the world, because Kenya seems to be the tech hub across the African continent in terms of getting work out there. So just those two skills as we wind up.
We are talking about soft skills, we are talking about digital skills, but also more importantly, skills that helps you to be innovative, to be able even to start your own business. From our tech ecosystem, we have various skill sets that are critical, that ranges from basic, intermediate to advanced. And all these are in varying proportions, important in one way or the other. There are skills that can be scaled, but there are skills that really can be applied across the board because they don't require you to have prior technical skill training in ICT, but just the general skills in ICT.
All right, great. Ivy, finally to you, what would you want to say to the young people today in terms of merging both the soft skills as well as the hard skills?
Mostly I'd like to speak to young women, young girls, to encourage them to take up STEM subjects, because many times they're discouraged, they think, or they are told that science and mathematics are difficult subjects for young ladies, so take a softer, easier route. Don't take the softer, easier route. Take the hard route. Play hard, learn, and that will take you and advance you to the next level. look for mentors, look at all the skills that are available. Continuous lifelong learning. You don't stop learning because you have left an education institution. If for any reason a young person has had to leave school, has had to drop out of school for a certain period of time, look for other programs, go to your community centers and see if there are other opportunities available for you to continue learning or to continue in a learning space. And as these technical skills are embedded in the formal education system, young people are going to now be graduating or finishing, for example, secondary schools with skills that can take them into the workplace, and then they continue to grow those skills and advance not only in their careers or in their ability to earn, but also in their absorption of those particular skills and continue to be a part of the future.
Amazing. Thank you all so much for your valid and insightful as well as educative insights on today's topic, which has been EdTech for the future of work. I'd like to say thank you all so much as well for being part of the EdTech Monday Kenya show, and to you, the viewer, of course, for the feedback on our social media platforms, our sign language interpreter, Rose Omolo, the production team, thank you. Watch this and all other previous editions of EdTech Monday Kenya on the MasterCard Foundation YouTube channel, and also follow the conversations on our Young Africa Works Facebook page. My name is Joy Doreen Bira. Next month, we have yet another interesting edition where we are going to focus on EdTech for teachers. In the wake of our new competence-based curriculum that we have in the country today, there's so many questions that have arisen, and it's important to also hear the voice of teachers. That is going to be our focus in the October edition of EdTech Monday Kenya. So I'll see you then. Until then, take care and stay safe. Bye for now.